All right. So, as always, anything you want to have with you will be on the chair for the most part, but if you prefer to sit on your couch or sit at a table, even just having your hands like a place for them to rest. You can also sit on the floor if that's comfortable for you, but you decide where you want to be today. And then just having anything near you that you might like if you know you get a little cold, maybe having a sweatshirt, having your water nearby, and any props. And those props don't have to be like actual yoga props. They can be a pillow from the couch, they can be a blanket, anything you want today. So, as we're getting started and you're getting anything that you want to have with you for your practice today, we're just going to find a comfortable seat on the chair. So, I placed my blocks underneath my feet because I've got kind of a tall chair today, and I want my feet to be able to rest nice and flat. So, depending on the height of your chair and the length of your legs, your feet might already just be flat on the ground, but feel free to add a little extra support so that way you can really relax into it. And you can even scoot a little forward in the chair if that helps as well. Now, when you first get here, you might take a little movement, maybe rock the head, maybe move the arms and the shoulders and the fingers and the toes. And if it feels okay, you can start to close your eyes or even just soften through your gaze. Start to feel your breath, feel the inhales go in and the exhales go out. And allow your hands to rest on tops of your thighs. Start to soften and release the shoulders away from the ears. And if you have a back to your chair, if you don't have a back to your chair, don't do this. If you have a back to your chair, maybe lean back into it. So everyone's chair is going to be a little bit of a different angle. And depending on how that chair is, this might feel okay, or you might want to, so as you're pressing the back against the chair, you feel the spine lengthen a little bit. I want you to try to keep that, but then bring yourself a little forward so the shoulders are coming over the hips. Zip up your winter coat and just kind of help subtly engage through the core. So even though we're going to be sitting the majority of class, we still want to keep this really intentional engagement as we move. Relax the jaw and the muscles of the face. If it feels okay and comfortable to be still in your body, go for it. But if you feel like you want to move a little bit or just kind of keep a little bit of almost like a wiggle, sometimes our body just wants to find a little bit of movement. I know my feet are feeling that a little bit this morning. And almost that is like if you're trying to be still, your body, like it's uncomfortable. And just take one more breath here. And you're welcome to keep your eyes closed or soften your gaze. And just start to roll the shoulders. You can keep the hands on tops of the thighs or you can let the arms dangle. Can be really dramatic about the movement or really tiny. Then go the other way. And then maybe just shake out the arms. And let's start to reach the arms all the way up to the sky. So your elbows don't ever have to be straight and your arms don't even have to reach the sky. But then just use your exhale to bring the arms all the way back down. So as your arms rise, think of that expansion. Inhale. And as you exhale, push the air all the way out and let the arms come down. Let's do two more. Inhale, reach the arms up, doesn't matter how high they go. And exhale, release the arms down. One more, inhale, reach. And exhale, release. If you want any movement after that, go for it. And then maybe just rock the head a little bit from the left to the right, like it's a clock. And tick tock. You can stay with this motion, or you can roll the chin across the chest, going to one side, and then going to the other. Be really mindful as you're moving your head. You don't have to move really fast to feel, or for even your body to have a little bit of a stretch and your neck to have a stretch. You may feel it, you may not. Depends on you, it depends on the day. And the next time the ear comes towards the left side, so whether you're going tick tock up and down or rolling across the chest, just pause. And remember that anything I offer you is optional. If I offer something that your body doesn't want this morning or that doesn't feel good today, please feel free to ignore me and do something else. Thanks. And then however you want to bring the right ear to the right shoulder, just nice and gently come to the other side. We're not trying to force the ear to the shoulder. Realistically, it's not going to touch if we're relaxing the shoulder. You may feel a stretch on the left side of the neck. You may not. There's lots of tiny little muscles holding up your head. And oftentimes just the sides feel different. I know for me, my left side is always a little bit tighter. So I don't have as much of a range of motion. And I don't have to do as much to feel a stretch. Just a couple breaths. And nice and slow. Bring the head back to center. Pause. Reconnect to your breath. And if you're sitting all the way back in your chair, I want you to scoot yourself up a little bit, probably towards the edge of the chair. Make sure you are supported though, so you don't want to be so far forward that you're not supported. And still feel like you're trying to get your feet flat on the ground. Sit up nice and tall. So pretend there's a string at the top of your head and you're just gently being lifted up. So start to extend your right leg forward. So I'm gonna flex my foot, and that means just pulling my toes towards my shin. I wanna let the heel rest on the ground. So if the ground feels really far away, you can bring your block or your blanket back, and it just elevates the leg a little bit. And then start to point the toes. So if your foot is flat on the ground, it's almost like you're trying to get the whole bottom of the foot onto the floor. And then flex the foot. Pull the toes up to your face. And point the toes. Press the foot on the ground. And flex the foot. Find a lot of engagement with the leg. So feel like the muscle is hugging to the bone. One more. Point the toes. And flex the foot. Place the foot back on the ground. We'll find the same thing with the other side. Extend your left leg out. Keep the foot flexed. Feel like you're pulling the toes up to your face. And then point the toes. Let the foot press on the ground. Or if it's elevated on a block or a blanket, it may not completely touch the ground, but just find that point, depending on the size of your foot and the size of the blocks. And then flex the foot, toes up to the face. And point the toes. And flex. And point. Couple more, flex. And point. Last one, flex. And point. Place the foot back on the ground or on your props. And this time you'll extend the right leg forward, just like we did before. Flex the foot, but this time I want you to let the foot float up off of the ground. So activate from the hip flexors. It doesn't matter how high it goes, and the floor is right there to put it back down. I'm not going to get a ruler and jump through the screen to measure. And then lower down. And then lift the leg up, activate all of the muscles. And lower. Let's do two more. Lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. Place the foot back on the ground. And let's do the other side. You can do anything you want with the arms. Flex the foot. And then lift the leg up. The sides are totally different. And lower down. You think because you walk on both legs that they'll feel the same, but they really don't. Very interesting. Lift the leg. And lower. One tends to feel a little bit stronger than the other. Let's do two more. Lift. And lower. Last one. Lift. And lower. Place the foot back on the ground. So you can stay a little bit forward in your chair, or you can come back a little bit. I'll tell you where we're going to go so you can decide where you feel most stable. You're going to start to cross your right ankle on top of the left knee. Now, if bringing the foot all the way up that high is not comfortable, you can just cross the right foot in front of the left foot. But I want you to feel almost like it's not finding it in the center, if that makes sense. I'm actually trying to keep that left foot in line with where my hip is and kind of how my legs land. And I'm gonna bring the right foot towards it. So you can be at the ankle or you can be at the knee. You can have that block or blanket underneath your foot to make your leg longer. And when you first get here, you can relax the foot a little bit. And almost feel like you're trying to push the right knee a little bit away from you. And you can hold on to the legs here to kind of hold it up. You don't have to just let your own strength hold it. But I want to feel like I'm trying to create a little bit more space between my belly and my right thigh. It may move, it may not. I want to think tall through the spine. And then start to rotate over to the right. So that rotate might be just like 10 degrees. I might be able to go all the way to the right, but I want you to think of the movement rinsing out the spine. So think tall and then rotate from the back. It really doesn't matter how far you go. Just a couple more breaths. And come all the way back to center. One more thing with the right leg up or cross over your ankle to start to rotate to the left. Think tall and think twisting from the spine. And come all the way back to center. Uncross the legs. You can pause here. If there's any movement or wiggles that you want to take, go for it. Awesome. Forget what just happened on the first side. Your sides are always different. They might be really drastically different. They might be subtly different, but they're different no matter what. So keeping the right leg where it is, maybe you start to bring the left foot all the way up to rest on the thigh, or bring the left foot to the right foot. So you might feel a little bit kind of off kilter, a little bit off center with this, but I really want to try to have you mimic that figure four, regardless of where the ankle rests. And it might be different from side to side. So don't stress yourself out if one side this was really easy to get the foot up and one side it doesn't want to go up at all. That's totally fine. Our sides are different. I'll say that over and over again, and you've probably already heard it from me a lot. So I'm gonna feel like I'm trying to gently let my left knee fall away from my body. And it really might not do anything. All I'm doing, honestly, is I'm just engaging my thigh a little bit and feeling like I want to just push the knee away. It's really not going anywhere. I'm just activating my muscles a little bit. And then maybe just start to rotate a little bit to the left. Remember that everything is optional. Think tall through the spine. Twist from the spine. Use your powerful breath. Couple more. Come all the way back to center and rotate to the other side. Remember, focus on the length and focus on a little bit of a twist. It doesn't matter how far you're going. Couple more breaths here. And then come all the way back to center. Uncross your legs. And we'll start to find just a little bit of movement in the spine. We've been sitting for quite a while and we're gonna stand up in a minute, but find a little cat-cow around the spine. Feel like you're just being gently pushed in the belly button. And then open the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then around the spine, hug the belly button in. I always want to use the analogy of the Pillsbury Doughboy from that old commercial, but I never know if people are going to know what I'm talking about. But it basically is just he just got poked in the belly button and he's just hugging it in a little bit. And then open the heart. And you can move faster than my words. You can move slower than my words. And then you maybe even start to go a little bit side to side. Be really gentle and mindful. You might even add a little bit of kind of circles. And then just being really careful, just checking in with your back. And then we'll start to make our way to stand. Now you can take your time getting there. You can do whatever you want on the way there. If you even want to just like move to a wall and have a little bit more support, go for it. I'm gonna just use the back of my chair today. You don't have to turn your chair like I just did. This is just so you can see me. So the first thing we're gonna do with our chair or with a wall or even a shelf is you can keep your hands on the back of the chair or on the wall and just start to walk your feet back like you're trying to create an upside down L. You can always rest the forearms on the chair. And you can pull the hips back as much as you want. But I want you to keep that engagement through the core. So feel like you're zipping up that winter coat still. You can always have a little bend into the knees. If being in more of an inversion simply means your heart is above your head, does not feel good in your body. Even that level can be a lot, so just kind of keep yourself a little bit up. And just focus on feeling like you're pulling the hips back. So almost pretend that I'm behind you and I'm gently pulling your hips back. Just trying to create a little bit more length in the lower back. Just a couple more breaths. And then bring yourself all the way back up to stand. And then let's reach the arms all the way up to the sky. And you can bring the right arm down and reach up and over through the left side. And I'm actually just going to bring my hands to my hips. That's just where I'm feeling like it today. And I want to feel like I'm creating a little bit of extra space in my left rib cage. And always be really mindful about how far you go. Try to keep that engagement through the belly and the core. And then nice and slow, come back to center. And again, you can reach your arms up and do the arms up overhead, or you can keep your hands at your hips. And I'm just gonna lean over to the left side. And the sides probably feel really different. Come all the way back to center. And then roll the shoulders. And maybe just shake it out a little bit. Any kind of movement with the body that feels good. I feel a couple of snack crackle pops in my hips and my back right now. Just kind of letting some of that pressure out. And then you'll come to stand next to your chair. You can have the right arm, right hand on the chair, or again on the wall or a shelf. I can do whatever I want with my left arm. And I might kind of press the weight a little bit from side to side. And then just very gently try to find that center, my center of gravity. So the way that you find that is as you're pressing the feet into the ground, I want you to feel like both feet are pressing in the four corners. So under your big toe, under your little toe, the inside of your heel, and the outside of your heel are finding that same engagement. And you might even feel like you're trying to pull the arch of your foot away from the floor. Whether you have an arch or you're a little bit more flat-footed, you're just feeling like that center of the foot is wanting to lift away. Just one more breath. Yeah, just finding a little bit of balance here. Now I'm going to take my feet really wide. And by really wide, I mean really just as wide as you want. I'm going to have my toes point towards the side. So if I've got my right hand on the chair, my toes are pointing to the left side, really. Right and left are really hard, so don't stress yourself out about it. I used to say that I was really good at right and left, but from the opposite. So when I was teaching in person a lot, of course, I would always mirror. So my right and left were opposite. Then once we went to Zoom, everything went out the window. I have no idea anymore. All right, so I'm going to turn my right toes towards the chair. My left toes are going to stay pointing to the side. And I can keep my hand on the chair. I don't have to. It's there if I want it. And I'm just going to start to bend into my right knee a little bit. And straighten. And a little bend. And straighten. Almost like I'm going to come towards a warrior two, but I'm really just going to focus on that movement of the knee and of that rooting into my feet. Really intentional, really strong, really mindful. And maybe I just keep with this movement today. Or maybe I eventually pause when I get a bend in my front knee. Your bend does not have to be crazy deep. I'm just going to do a little bend today. But I want to feel the engagement in my thigh. And just one more breath wherever I'm at. If I'm still moving, if I'm holding. And then just straighten the leg. Bring the feet back together. And maybe shake out those feet. All right, so we're gonna come to bring the left hand to the chair. I'm moving my chair. You do not need to move your chair. Otherwise you would see my butt. So I'm just gonna bring the left hand to the chair. I've got it there for support. I can take it or leave it. And then I might find that little rock. Again, just like we did before, we want to find that strong balance of the feet rooting into the ground. Trying to find my center of gravity today. Then eventually just starting to take my feet a little wider. It doesn't have to be your widest, but just think a little bit wider than where you were a moment ago. Turn your left toes to the chair, or whatever leg is closest to the chair while you're going to turn the toes towards that. And as you do that, I didn't say this on the other side, but if your hips need to kind of rotate a little bit with that, that is fine. That back hip might have to rotate a little bit to the front to protect your front knee. And then maybe start to bend into the leg and straighten. A little movement. Really focus on that intention of pressing the feet down. Using your breath. And you can keep with that movement or you can pause. We're just here for a couple more breaths. And then you'll start to stop whatever you're doing and bring the legs back together. Shake it out. Let it go. All right, we're gonna stay on with our left side, finding that support. And then just start to lift the right heel up off of the ground. You're gonna keep the ball of the foot on the ground. And then press it down and switch. Press it down and switch. So you can move really slowly from left to right, or you could almost feel like you're doing a little bit more of a bounce as you're just coming onto the ball of the foot. Really strong engagement through the legs, mindful of those ankles. Awesome. And then just release the feet down, maybe even roll out the ankle. My feet are always very snap, crackle, poppy. Yours may be the same. And then I'm gonna start to face my chair. So I just wanna have a support in front of me that both hands can hold on to. Again, it's there if I want it, but you don't have to take it. I'm gonna shift my weight into my left foot. Let my right heel lift up off of the floor. Now this time I'm gonna stay here and then kick my right heel towards my butt. And I might flex the foot, I might point the foot. And that kick to my butt might be like this, like with my toes really close to the ground, or it might be a little bit higher. But I want to notice what's happening in my front, and I want to find my winter coat and zip it up again. Nice strong engagement. Really strong through my standing leg. And if you're feeling a little extra spicy today, you can reach for the foot or your pants. I'm gonna hold on to my pants today. But I want to feel like my whole body is square to my chair. Yes, I know it's harder to hold than it is to move. We're just gonna find 2 more breaths. One last one and then one for good luck. Wherever you're at. Open the heart. So even if you're not holding onto the pant or the leg, I want you to feel like you're expanding through the chest. And then gently release. Pause. Try not to shake it out. That's like what our body naturally wants to do. And then if you still want to shake it out, now you can shake. All right, and then shift the weight into your right foot, other side. Lift the left heel up off of the ground. And then maybe start to let that foot float up off of the ground like you're kicking the heel towards the butt. Sides are totally different. Zip up your winter coat. Broaden through the chest. Feel like you're almost trying to come towards that cow stretch in just the chest. You can stay right here, or you can hold on to the foot or the pants. Couple more breaths wherever you're at. And it's okay if that at is kind of just like a little lift, a little lower, a little lift, a little lower. One more. Gently release and let it go. Resist the urge to shake. And then now shake if you want to. Right, a couple more things standing before we come back to our chair. So you're going to stay facing the chair. Bring your feet a little wide. So they're a little bit maybe wider than your hips. So think like they're trying to come towards the outside of your hips. And depending on how your chair is, it might be like the legs of the chair that your feet are in line with. It really depends on the chair though, so don't take my word for that. But I want to walk close to the chair. I think I'm gonna give it a hug. And step my left foot like 2 to 3 feet back. I want to be able to put my left heel onto the ground. So if I step back and it does not want to come down, then my body is just saying, oh, just shorten it up a little bit. That is perfect. So I want to keep my hips pointing towards my chair. And you can stay right here or maybe lean a little forward. And I want to keep my legs where they are. I'm just finding that hinge from the hips. And then I might lean on the chair. And if I want to go more forward, then I'll just bring both feet more away from the chair. So that way I can bring my upper body down a little bit more. See if you can keep the back leg straight, but if you need to find a bend anywhere, find a little bend in the front knee. And if I ever offer something and you're not sure, it always feels good to just kind of play with it. So if I say maybe bend, you're like, I don't know if I want to bend today. Do a little bend, do a little straighten, and your body's going to be like, yeah, this is where I want to go. And then nice and slow, bring your upper body up. Really intentional movement. Step your feet back together. Try to resist the urge to shake. And we'll come right into the other side. So step your right foot back. Again, you want to just be able to get that right heel down. So if you step it back and it doesn't want to go down, then you just shorten up the stance a bit. My hips are pointing towards my chair. And I might stay right here, or I might lean a little bit into it. If you want to go a little bit more into that lean, you can walk the feet back. Sit and slow, start to bring your upper body back up. Bring your feet together. Again, resist the urge to shake. And now if you want to shake, go for it. We're going to come back to sit. So if there's anything that your body is like, oh, I really need to do this movement before I sit back down, please go for it. No rush. Take your time. And when you do make it back to your chair, just take a moment to set yourself up. So maybe you place those props underneath your feet again. You can find engagement as you sit tall, but don't feel like you're using the most effort that you have. Like find a little softness into it, if that makes sense. So I'm keeping engagement through my spine, but I'm not like forcing myself to sit up really tall. I'm just gonna let my body sink into it a little bit. You can bring your hands wherever you want. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw. Come back to your breath here. And just allowing your intention and attention come to your inhale and your exhale. Maybe your eyes are closed or your gaze is soft. Allow your right ear to come to your right shoulder. So just like we did a little while ago. You can keep your left hand on your leg or just let the arm dangle. And that dangle is just creating a little bit more of a resistance. I'm not trying to force that shoulder down and force my ear to my shoulder. I'm just letting everything hang, letting gravity do its job. Really finding more of a passive stretch. You can bring the arm back up. Let the chin nice and slow roll across the center of the chest. And when it finds the center, pause. And then feel like you're pressing the shoulders towards the back of the chair. So I'm letting my head fall forward, but then I'm opening my chest a little bit to bring my shoulders back and down. So feel like your shoulder blades are pulling back and a little bit down the spine. And then release the shoulders. Let go of that effort. And bring the left ear to your left shoulder. And you can let the right arm dangle if you want. And you can bring the right arm back up. Bring the head back to center. So crown of the head towards the sky. And then we're gonna find that cat-cow movement, but I only want you to find it in the chest and the shoulders. So just like we did a few moments ago, I'm gonna pull my shoulders back, feel my shoulder blades squeeze together like I've got a pencil that I'm trying to hold between my shoulder blades. And then I'm gonna round my shoulders forward. So my lower half of my torso might move just kind of naturally as I do that, but I'm really just focusing on the movement of my shoulders. So feel like I'm pulling them back and rounding them in. And back and in. And your head can be involved in this, or you can just keep it neutral. Let's do two more. Again, just focus on the movement above my chest, just at the shoulders. Last one. And now taking a couple of full cat cows. So now I'm bringing my whole torso into it. And then rounding everything, finding that Pillsbury Doughboy. And open the heart. And round. Your movement can be small or big, couple more. And bring yourself back to center. If there is any other movement that your body wants here, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, we're going to start to make our way into our Shavasana. So now you can take that Shavasana in your chair. I know it might feel a little weird, but you can totally lean back in the chair and just kind of let your body relax here. You can also move to the floor. Be really mindful though, if the floor is not for you. It is all just an option. You really can take that Shavasana anywhere except maybe not standing. That would be a little weird, but anywhere else I think is perfect. Any place where you can feel like your body can soften a bit. Allow your breath to relax. Softening through the jaw and the shoulders. Just using these last few moments of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. Slowly starting to bring some awareness back into the space. Wiggling your fingers and your toes, rolling out wrists and ankles, and rocking your head from side to side. Now, wherever you are, just pausing there. You can bring your hands to heart center if that feels okay, or maybe even just place your hands over your heart. Allow your chin to drop to your chest. And thanking yourself for making it to your practice today, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste. No rush to move from where you are. You can really slowly bring yourself back to the space and to life.